The Galactic Council chambers had never been so quiet. Ambassador Zethkri of the Valorian Empire shifted uncomfortably in his crystalline seat, his four eyes darting between the massive viewscreen displaying Earth's coordinates and the empty podium where humanity's representatives would soon stand. For 3 cycles, the galaxy's most powerful civilizations had dismissed the third planet of the Sol system as insignificant, a backwater world, populated by primitive bipeds who had barely mastered faster-than-light communication. That dismissal had been their first mistake. Raza Chen stepped through the chamber's energy barrier, his worn leather jacket a stark contrast to the elaborate ceremonial robes worn by every other delegate. Behind him walked Naz Okafor, her simple military uniform bearing patches from a dozen conflicts most galactic citizens had never heard of. Neither human carried weapons, yet every being in the chamber felt their presence like a gravitational shift. "Honored delegates," Raza began, his voice carrying easily through the vast space without amplification, "we appreciate your invitation to address this council." High Chancellor Morvek of the hegemony leaned forward, her serpentine form coiling with barely contained disdain. "The Terra system has been offered membership in our coalition. Your species need only accept our guidance in matters of governance, military doctrine, and resource allocation. Surely even your kind can see the benefits of joining civilized space." Naz's dark eyes fixed on the Chancellor. When she spoke, her words were measured, almost casual. "We've reviewed your offer. It's interesting how you define guidance as complete subjugation of our industrial capacity, conscription of our population for your wars, and the installation of your governors on every inhabited world we possess. Standard integration protocols," buzzed Supreme Coordinator Vex through his translation matrix. "Every species must contribute according to their capabilities. Your worlds are rich in rare minerals. Your people breed rapidly and show surprising resilience to physical trauma. These are valuable assets." "Assets," Raza repeated, rolling the word around like something distasteful. "That's what you see when you look at us. Resources to be harvested." The silence stretched until Chancellor Morvek's patience snapped. "Your arrogance is astounding. We offer you the protection of the mightiest armada in galactic history, access to technology your species won't develop for millennia, and membership in a civilization spanning thousands of worlds. What could you possibly offer in return that would justify refusing such generosity?" Naz and Raza exchanged a look that somehow conveyed volumes. Then Naz reached into her jacket and withdrew a small, unremarkable device. She placed it gently on the podium. "This contains a detailed analysis of every defensive system, fleet deployment, and strategic weakness of every nation represented in this chamber," she said conversationally. "Our ships have been observing your territories for the past 6 months. Your sensors never detected us." The chamber erupted in denials and outrage, but Raza's raised hand somehow commanded silence. "We know about the slave farms on Kepler 442b, Coordinator Vex. We know about your population control experiments, Chancellor. We know about the genocide your peacekeeping forces committed on the Zephyrian colonies." "Impossible," hissed Ambassador Zethkri. Your security is designed to detect ships using gravitic drives, energy weapons, and quantum communications," Naz interrupted. "You've been fighting the same way for so long you can't imagine any other approach. We use chemical propulsion, kinetic weapons, and good old-fashioned radio signals. To your sensors, we might as well be space debris." Supreme Coordinator Vex's mechanical limbs clicked frantically. Even if this were true, 2 primitives with surveillance data hardly constitute a threat to our combined fleets. Raza smiled, and something about that expression made several delegates instinctively reach for their ceremonial weapons. "You're right. 2 humans aren't a threat, but we're not 2 humans. We're the advanced scouts for a species that has spent its entire history fighting itself, learning every possible way to kill, survive, and win. We've had nuclear weapons for over 2 centuries and never destroyed ourselves. We've had biological weapons for longer and chose not to use them. We've fought wars that lasted generations and came out stronger. Every world you've conquered surrendered when faced with overwhelming force," Naz added. "You've forgotten what it means to fight an enemy that refuses to quit. An enemy that sees impossible odds as just another problem to solve." The viewscreen flickered, displaying Earth's solar system. But now, instead of one small blue world, it showed thousands of small contacts scattered throughout the system. Asteroids that moved with purpose, gas giant moons bristling with hidden installations, and the ominous shapes of massive construction projects in the outer darkness. "We've been preparing," Raza said simply. "While you debated whether we were worth your attention, we've been building, learning, adapting your own technology to our purposes." Chancellor Morvek's voice carried a note of uncertainty for the first time. "What do you want?" "Nothing you're capable of giving," Naz replied. "We want to be left alone. We want the slave worlds you've conquered to be freed. We want your wars of expansion to end. And if we refuse?" The silence that followed was absolute. When Raza finally spoke, his voice carried the weight of inevitability. "Then you'll learn why the galaxy should have stayed quiet when humans finally showed up." The chamber remained silent long after the two humans had left, each delegate contemplating the same terrifying thought. They had awakened something that should have been left sleeping in the dark between the stars. Outside, as their shuttle departed for Earth, Naz glanced at Raza. "Think they'll listen?" "No," he replied, watching the stars wheel past their viewport. "But that's okay. We gave them a chance." Behind them, humanity's first interstellar war machine began to stir.